Hi guys, this is Tom Fury Zero News. If you saw a live come up on Zero News and then it stopped and halfway through the intro, that was because of the fact that I meant to record this video and for some reason hit the live button instead. So yeah, so you nearly got a live with me sitting there staring, thinking of what I was going to say. Crazy. So that's why. So I apologise for that false alert you may have got. And sorry about this camera. I think I put a screen protector on. I think it's slightly in the way, which is a bit annoying. So I have to sort that out at some point. So before I go on to more serious topics, I'm gonna post a link underneath this video. There's a comedian called Daniel O'Reilly. Maybe you know him well. I don't. But he's done a short, and it's like a response to Keir Starmer's Christmas message, but he's playing a character. And I've tried and thought about it about doing a done up video for you guys, and I thought there's no way because it's such a short video. It must be 3 minutes at most, and it's not even that. And actually, it's 1 minute and 44. And so there's no way I can show that to you. I could probably get away with fair use, but and show you bits of it. But there's no way I could show you those bits of it without completely undermining the original intent of the artist. It would take so much humor away from the final thing because it needs to be watched together. So rather than me spoiling what is quite a good segment, I'll just put the link underneath and you watch it yourself and get a frame of reference. But I sat watching that, and that should have been a hilarious segment. But I found that it was mildly amusing and made me smile quite a lot towards the end. Um, because some of it was quite well written, but most of it, I just felt like, to be honest, I've seen better and I've seen more, or I've seen exactly the same with comments on Twitter. Made me wonder if that's where he got his comments from. But I've seen exactly the same on Twitter. So yeah, you have to see what you think of that video. But does it? It's not. There's some when I watch it again. It's nothing to do with him being lame or anything else. There's something about it that feels kind of well trodden, well worn, a little bit kind of exhaustive. And it's not actually that loads of comedians are doing this. It's just that the things that he's saying, the subjects, are all well worn. They, especially if you go on X and stuff like that, they really are. And something that's bothering me, I'm going to bring up. So the live I did today, the last time I looked, it was about 3 hours and it was on about 623 people. And you can get these strange times like I've got another little channel and about 500 communists came out because I made the Owen Jones video. And interestingly enough, I've just made another Owen Jones video, and trolls have started to appear on the channel and stuff. So um, it may be connected, but so there's a chance it's real. But normally, if 600 people come through, then the likelihood is that some are gonna dislike or like or subscribe or something. And yet the numbers aren't particularly different than normal. That kind of suggests more bot activity. Sometimes again sent by the left, especially at the small channels. Other times I don't really know. See, if I saw another channel do it, I'd say they were buying views. To be honest with you, but I promise you I haven't because it looks so out of place. But I don't. Yeah, and it's happened to me before on my other channel. Um, for some reason somebody was I don't know I thought at first somebody was trying to do something what they thought was a good deed, so I tried to ask them nicely to stop, whoever it was, and then they just increased doing it. It can't be the same thing because that was about 2 years ago. um but that number, and don't get me wrong, I remember when I released a video when I first came on YouTube, about 6 videos in, I released a video that got 10,000 views. And it was just fluke. I just happened to release the right video about the right subject on the right day. But there's just something about this I'm not buying. So I don't know. Just keep your eyes open, guys, just in case. Um, I don't trust numbers like that. Not. I'll have a look later on at the analytics. If the analytics show it slowly coming down, that might be a bit more believable. But if it's just an up like that and then down, it's very suspect. It's very suspect. But sometimes if you get the title right, these things can happen. It's not impossible. But I didn't think the title is all that. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not going to change the title. You tell me what you think. And so we get to Mr. Starmer, who I've already talked about a lot today. But I suppose just before I can take a day off, we need to address the fact that Mr. Starmer has found a way to avoid civil war. He has potentially found a way to trigger one, but also, if successful, he has possibly found a way to avoid civil war in this country. I can't take the credit. No one can take the credit. Keir Starmer, believe it or not, is the man that would have to take the credit for potentially averting a civil war in this country. How? By getting every single one of us annihilated first. Or by forcing as many people of us to be out there fighting and getting us involved in a war that, if it really became World War III, I don't think people really understand what that means. I think they think that's a marketing term. If it became a world war, then your skin color and religion will count for nothing. So, although it can cause civil wars and has done, I think in our case, I don't know what it would cause, but 50-50 maybe. So maybe Mr. Starmer's found another way, and that's just get us annihilated by Russia. Um, just remember, we are in that age where Britain used to be protected by the sea. We could get away with punching above our weight because we were defended by the seas. We had a massive navy, but but we were defended by the seas. We were defended by natural defences. They count for nothing when you're firing rockets and you've got a bigger landmass than we've got, and that's the game that we're playing these days. And when it comes down to, and also how many friends have you got? Well, you left Europe. They've shown what they think of you, even with you sucking up to them. They alienated America, your friend. So who is going to come rushing to your aid? Keir Starmer, I said to you, he's the worst kind of person to get in power. When a very small-minded person, undeserving, someone who probably deep down inside never really expected to be here because he knew he wasn't good enough. A total beta male in every respect. No disrespect to any beta males out there, but in every respect. Barely measuring up to a beta male, to be frank. When you give someone like that power, that's where you get your worst tyrants from. You look at some of the worst tyrants in history. They weren't big hulking men. They weren't necessarily. Some of them were, but most of them couldn't necessarily fight. They were weak people often, not always, but often. He's a very weak man, and he's strutting around on the world stage, and has been for a while, like we have actual power. And don't get me wrong, on paper we have some monetary power. The small armed forces we've got is highly regarded in the world, but it is small armed forces. But the fact of it is, and Russia's tried to tell us in the past, we're not interested in you. You're not even in world power anymore, which we're not. That was decided back at the Suez Canal in terms of superpowers, and it decided that we were no longer one of them. We don't have that. and we don't have the land mass like we did before in having an empire to be in this kind of war. But they're ramping up for war. They're telling you to ramp up for war. Get ready for this. Get ready for that. Um, they're doing the same thing in Europe, but although he probably thinks he's got the backing of everybody else, there's no obligations, I don't think, to help us. Like, we're on our own as much as anything else. Um, Now here's the question: is he that deluded? Has he been promised protection, or what is going on? Because his military advisors must be freaking out because we don't have the ability to fight a skirmish. So what is going on? Like, when we entered at World War II, because of Chamberlain and because of some other factors, we'd been gearing down away from war, rather than towards it, and we were completely unprepared for war, and we were also near broke when it started. That was World War Two. I would argue we're in an even worse position to go into a global conflict at this point. Like, we are again broke and really have no fighting force that you would want to um, well, one, leave the country, to be honest, in that kind of situation, but two, be going out there to try and win any major battles or to try and win, certainly to win a war. We just haven't got, and to get that kind of machine going takes time, especially in an island country like ours, but it takes time for any country. Um, so he's dragging us into a war. And if he's announcing it ahead of time, think of how stupid this is, right? Your country is not in a position to have a war yet, but you're announcing it ahead of time, so your enemies know that, well, you're weak now. So if they're going to keep shouting war at us, we might as well do something now rather than when they've had a chance to build a war machine up. So what are they doing? If I can think of that, so can they. So what are they doing? It's a legitimate question. It's not conspiracy theories. It's, if I can come up with this, why are they not thinking about this? They must have thought about this. Why are they still carrying on provoking? Um, what is it they think that they know when we know for a fact we we couldn't fight a war with Estonia at the moment, let alone Russia, um, and friends, by the way, up to and including China, who would absolutely wipe the floor with us, absolutely annihilate us. And we're going to step up our counter cyber attacking or whatever we're going to, online shit, basically, online warfare. We're stepping that up. Ooh, I'm sure that's really going to have them backpedaling. See, the thing is as well, we've got to understand there's a lot of people, and I'm not talking about any of the conspiracy agendas, but there's a lot of people from certain religious sects in America and other places. There's a lot of people on this earth that want to see a prophecy fulfilled one way or another, and they want there to be a World War III. Um, I don't know if it's because they don't realize how bad it would be, or if I don't know. But there are people, and I don't say this through some kind of weird judgment. I'm just going by the videos I see every now and again of on YouTube of people talking about being the chosen ones of, I'm not going to name the religion, but the chosen ones, and how, something like a world war or apocalypse, whatever, would be a good thing because it would be that moment you've all been waiting for, which is the separation of some kind between two lots of people, and the ones left will be the chosen ones because of whatever their religious beliefs are. So, and the people that have made these videos are very passionate and they've spent a lot of money on making the videos. They very obviously very much believe them. And again, the religion I'm talking about is well known. It's a massive, massive, massive religion. So yeah, so there's people that want this for other reasons as well, or want a world at war. Um, knowing it means mutual destruction. Is my point. Sorry, which is just frightening. We worry about the wrong people getting their hands on these kinds of weapons because of what they might do, because of their beliefs. Listen to us. The other thing as well is Putin right now is a wounded bear. Starmer would be in Starmer. So doing what Starmer's doing, he's provoking all the time. He's provoking, and whether it doesn't matter, it's not about being on Putin's side or being against Putin. You know, we know what Putin is. It's about the fact that he's an injured bear, and he is someone that cannot be seen to lose face because his life's basically over from that moment that he does. So Starmer's provoked him into conflict, which Putin will have to oblige sooner or later. Putin will have to oblige. There'll be so many reasons for that, and cultural reasons why he would have to oblige. Again, so I don't know if they're delusional or if they're playing with fire, or if this is just a concoction between him and Europe. But Europe are a couple of countries are well armed, but they're equally not prepared for a world conflict. So I don't know what any of them are playing. There's no European army. But this is the scenario Europe's always wanted. It's a scenario they've wanted because it's a scenario where they get to say, see, if we had a European army, we could protect you from big bad Russia now. Because the way it's being painted, as much as I know Russia's not the good guys in things, the way it's being painted, I found an article earlier on where the let me just read this to you, because the way it paints it is so wrong. The UK is rapidly developing plans to prepare the whole country for the possible outbreak of war, the Armed Forces Minister said, underlining the role of civilians would have to play in a major conflict. He said armies, navies and air forces respond to crisis, but societies, industries and economies win wars. Shadow of war. The shadow of war is knocking on Europe's door once more. The shadow of war is knocking on Europe's door. Not Europe's been undermining peace deals and knocking on the door of Russia. Like, we're the aggressors here in terms of getting involved in this war. And again, you know, NATO telling Europe to get ready for confrontation with Russia. Well, why? Why? You know, that we're putting in Russia into a... So you've got America, the world's actual superpower, trying to create a peace deal to stop all fighting. And you have got these mad bastards trying to get a multi-country world war going with Russia, which would most likely then pull in Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. What is wrong with these people? Like, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is very basic common sense. This is exactly or the type of scenario that happened in World War II via proxy wars. A lot of big countries were pulled in because of promises made. But what are they doing? We've got no ability to fight a war at the moment. It would take us quite a while to develop that ability again. Neither is Europe really. And part of me wonders if they're trying, if they're even prepared to accept defeat in order to say, see, we need European army. I don't know. I don't know what they are doing, but everybody should be very suspicious of them at the moment, and everybody should be concerned about what they're doing because they are absolutely playing with fire. They're absolutely playing with fire. We are, we are, we're running around with a water pistol, um, in front of gangsters, who are fully armed and playing games. Do you know what I mean? Like what we're doing is suicide. It's suicide, and for what reason? For what reason? What I'm seeing here is a lot of things blaming Russia for this, but nobody's actually given a singular reason for dragging a whole country into war. And imagine the shame of the forebears of the Labour government, knowing that Labour dragged them into a war like this. Um, the irony, Jeremy Corbyn, wouldn't fess up as to whether he would use the nuclear button or not, because he's above that. And look how far we've fallen. But yeah, they're talking about it being inevitable, as though peace talks aren't going on, that they've completely probably nullified now by trying to go to war by trying to go to war with Russia. Regardless of Russia good or bad guys, we are trying to go to war with them. And we are also undermining America, the actual player in this game that might be able to fix something, maybe the only player. And we've undermined them, not only then forcing us further away from peace and towards world conflict, but also cutting them off as allies as well, if there is an armed conflict. Yeah. Do you think someone like Trump's gonna just take this lightly? If it does break out in war, and then suddenly we're in trouble and we're expecting America to get involved, do you think he's going to be so quick to help when Starmer's been sticking his middle finger up, going around with his head cocked with his stupid little red face? Don't be surprised if America ain't there to help, and if Europe ain't got the balls to help. So what we're doing and what Europe's doing is irresponsible. We haven't got the ability to back it up, which makes it irresponsible before we even talk about right or wrong or anything else. If you haven't got the ability to back it up, it's irresponsible, because you're playing with fire. You're playing with people who are already at war. So they're not thinking the same way you are. They're not thinking from a point of comfort. They're thinking from a point of survival. So they will fire on you, just, I don't know. Hopefully you see where I'm coming from. And yeah, if you have any understanding of why Starmer would walk around, other than the fact that he's a tiny little man in the wrong job, why he would walk around acting like we're a power when, not, I love my country, but the very fact of it is bad governments have taken that power away. We've got great special forces and stuff, but you can't reduce an army to a tiny size and scattered across a large area and expect it to be a well-beaten fighting force. It doesn't work that way. So it's not the army's fault. It's just the funding and stuff like that. So yeah, but when you've got that, when you're in that situation, you don't go around poking bears with sticks and declaring that you're getting ready for war. There's no actual proof at the moment, by the way. It's all words and bits of paper at the moment, but there's no actual proof that we're getting ready for war, in terms of we should be going into ship production and all kinds of things. There's no actual, and they're telling the public what to do already. Again, remember what I said to you during COVID? I said I've never seen a situation in which when there is a nationwide threat in which they've actually told the public, be afraid, be afraid, be as afraid as you can be, which they did during COVID. And they're doing the same thing again. They're doing the same thing again, which makes it feel orchestrated, and that is they're saying, this is going to happen to your kids, this is going to happen to you. You get ready, get fuel, get this, get that. And again, I feel like they're doing the same thing again, trying to frighten people with it at the same time. They're up to something, but I'm not smart enough to work it out, or perhaps it's too simple for me to see because I'm thinking about it too deeply. But to me, it just looks like a suicide. A suicide. And like I said, we won't need to worry about civil war at the rate Starmer is dragging us down. It would only take a lash out, an undeclared lash out from Russia a few times to neutralize us in ways that we're just so not ready for. Yeah. So we just need to hope that someone can get rid of this mad bastard before he gets us all killed. And I'm serious, like, he will get us all killed. This has got nothing to do with patriotism, nothing to do with good and bad. He's a mad bastard. Um, and the first leader in ages I've seen try and escalate war openly. At least Europeans have got enough sense to pretend otherwise. But yeah, he really is a piece of work. But the fact that he could walk around looking like he actually thinks he could win the thing is even more frightening to me. And people like that get a lot of good innocent people killed, and we need rid of him before that happens, because it's people like him. It's always people like him that get good innocent people killed. It's never people who've actually been there. It's always people like him. And somehow we need to stop that. You know, yeah, because he will be, if he's not the death of this nation, he could still be the death of a hell of a lot of people from all different countries, by the way. The responsibility he should feel on his shoulders right now, with all the running of his mouth that he's done, should be immense. And again, he's walking around like a cockerel. He's happy as a pig in shit, because from his point of view, he's the jewel. He's the center of attention. He's managed to steal the attention from America, Russia, and Ukraine. He's got the limelight on him. He's achieved his job. He's a star of the ball. Problem is, he's done it all with fakeness and things that he can't back up. Now he's got everyone's attention. He may wish he hadn't, and we definitely may wish he hadn't. But anyway, I see what you think of it. But I worry now that our next threat's going to be this potential World War III. Although it may not spark straight into that, and things like the military things that have been happening between us and Russia for years, those could start turning into skirmishes very quickly. So I don't know. Keep your eyes on that scene. But again, something else he should be held to account for, because he's going and knocking. They're talking about war being on Europe's door. No, Europe is trying to involve itself in war, and that is a very different thing. Tom Fury, Zero News, calling it a day for now.